Now we're going to look in a little more detail at some of the functionality available in Sophos Data Control. Data Control is really a solution that's giving you visibility of data as it exits endpoints on your network or that are part of your organisation. The real drive behind this is that much of the data loss that we know about is accidental. There's not as much malicious data theft going on as maybe we like to think. So what Sophos has done is concentrated essentially on how data leaves the organisation, whether that be on a USB stick, attached to an email, or uploaded to the internet. And we look at ways in which we can not just prevent that from happening, but also get visibility on whether it's happening or not. We're now going to create a basic data control policy. So in the Enterprise console, we open the data control policy. And in this case, you can see we've got the policy contains the following rules. So there's some rules that already exist. If I highlight one of them, it's an email address list rule that we've selected. And we'll just have a look at that in a little bit more detail. So what we get then is a window that shows to us the context of the rule. These are built in a similar way to Microsoft Outlook rules. They also look very similar to the way our own client firewall rules are built. So if you've used the Enterprise console before, it should be a format that you're familiar with. Here we can see that what we're basically telling this rule to do is where the file contains 100 or more matches of an email address and where the destination of that file is any of the listed destinations below, whether that be a floppy drive, a removable drive, whether it's going to be attached to an email, etc., etc. And the action in this case is to allow that transfer once the user accepts. And the user will accept by they get an option on the screen to allow them to accept transfer of that data. So that's the policy that we've created. I'm very quickly going to edit this policy just to show you the other available options. So if I click Contains, I now get another screen which shows me all of the other available content control lists. These lists are built by Sophos Labs, so there's no requirement for you to update or create them if you don't want to. There is a function for you to do that, but Sophos Labs will continue to maintain these content control lists. And you can see some examples of things we have here that the solution is able to look for. It can look for bank account details, personally identifiable information, credit or debit card numbers, national insurance numbers, ethnicity descriptions, lots and lots of other things. You can also view the ones that are relevant to your particular region. There's a drop down at the top that allows you to select the country that you're in, and that will then give you country-specific control lists that exist. Obviously, for the purposes of our demonstration, we're going to use the email address. And I'm going to choose it for the benefit of demo to look for only one email address. So if it sees a file with one email address, it will trigger the rule. So I OK that. And then I OK to apply the policy. It tells me the groups that particular policy applies to. So now from the user's point of view, go to the user's machine, and I've created a file which is cunningly titled email.txt. What I'm going to do is I'm going to attempt to copy that to a USB drive. So plug in my USB stick, and now I'm going to copy that file to the USB stick. And you'll notice we get a message pop up from Sophos telling us that particular file transfer was blocked. Transfer of that file was blocked because of the particular rule that we've used in this case. And underneath now it gives me an option to either authorize that file transfer or to continue to block it. But a lot of what this is about is user education. You know, 3/4 of this shouldn't be about having to set a massively complicated data control policy. Even if you just make your user think for 1 second, do I really want to do this? Am I aware that someone is auditing what I'm doing? Is this a sensible thing to do? That thought process can actually eliminate a lot of the accidental data loss that you're likely to see. So in this case, we're going to choose to authorize that file transfer and say OK, and that then copies the file to the stick. In the Enterprise console in our dashboard, we now see that we also have a data control event. So it logs that event in the Enterprise console to tell us that a data control event was triggered, and here's some more information about that particular event. So essentially what we've been able to do in a very short space of time is to create a policy that reports on particular data types and gives us that information readily and easily accessible.